Hi, everyone. Happy to have you here on this bitterly cold morning here in Illinois. I hope that you all are keeping warm. At least we're indoors, right? And I didn't have to walk the dog today. So it was like too cold, 8 degrees, too cold. But we're at a balmy, I think, balmy 20 right now, but it's windy. So that does not help. It's windy, it gets worse. So anyway, I'm so excited to have you all here at our daytime quilting hangout. Welcome to everybody. I'm glad you're joining in on the fun. There's always something fun to do when it comes to quilting. It doesn't matter what the weather is, just as long as we're all here and we're able to share our quilting knowledge together, we're good to go. I've got a few things I want to share with you today. Our daytime quilting hangout is basically a hands-on sort of experience where I just show you some new products that I've come across, or how maybe some new fabrics, new line, something someone's introduced to me that I'm sharing with you. That's usually what our daytime quilting hangout is. Then our night owl hangout, which is actually it's coming up on Monday. That's where I show you how to use some of this stuff. So at Night Owl, if you decide that it's of interest to you, you can either make whatever the item is with me, or we can just you can watch and we can just chat. Now, I'm all alone today. So usually I have Terry here helping field the questions and Alex doing the same thing and giving you the links and all that sort of thing, but they're not able to be here today, either one of them. So I'm by myself. So if by chance I've got my iPad here and I'm trying to watch everybody's comments, but if by chance I don't see your question or your comment, please email Mary at joyfulandmaryquilting.com and I will do my best to answer you once we're finished with the live. Sometimes it's kind of hard. Like I say, I've got my iPad sitting here and the chat is running here. But when it starts to go fast, then I don't see what you have unless I go back and occasionally I forget to do that. So not occasionally, a lot, which is why they're so helpful when they're here. So I really appreciate them being here. And I really appreciate you all being here as well. I mean, thank you for joining me. We have a few things that I want to talk about. I've got some notes here. First of all, I usually share a merry moment with you because, life is full of quilting merry moments. I'm always having some kind of an enjoyable moment, whether it's piecing or cutting. I love to cut. A new ruler, someone that's made a comment or asked a question that I've been able to help. All sorts of things bring me joy throughout my day. And that's kind of the whole purpose of Joyful and Merry Quilting. Also, this is a time that we chat. So, for those of you that aren't into the chat, you can always watch the replay and then fast forward ahead until you get to whatever it is you want to watch. But this is just kind of a casual, it's a hangout. So it's kind of a casual time where we're able to talk about things. Now, I have to bring up a couple of things. First of all, as I said, this is usually a merry moment, but Monday, January 20th, was Blue Monday. What's Blue Monday? Blue Monday, if you haven't heard me tell this story before, was a commercialized event that was created by a car company. And it basically is called the saddest day of the year. And the reason it's so sad is because 3 reasons. Because the weather is usually not so good. They don't know how to quilt. Most people don't know that quilting brings you joy no matter what the weather. But anyway, that's beside the point. So the weather, many people had made New Year's resolutions, and they've realized after only 3 weeks that they're not going to keep up. They've already broken them. And the third thing is that bills come due from the holidays. And so people are overwhelmed financially. They are overwhelmed when it comes to just the overall weather and daily outlook on life. It's drearier. The days are shorter, that whole thing. And it's just Blue Monday. It's just a day, that overwhelming and feelings of doom tend to come around. So this company tried to make it a happy day, which is what I think it is. I love Monday. First of all, Monday is it is my favorite day of the week because I always feel like it's a new day, a new refreshing moment that I can start over. It doesn't matter what I'm starting, or I can get started. So anyway, Blue Monday, we decided was going to be our scrap busting season. That's the beginning or the opening of scrap busting season, January 20th. What does scrap busting season? Because we don't want to pay a lot. We just want to be able to use the fabrics that we have, because fabric is expensive. And so in order to be able to use what we have, we started scrap busting. That means that we sort our fabrics so that it's not just in a big old bin where we don't know what's in there and we'll never use it because we don't know what's in there. What we do is we sort it as best as we can, whatever works for us, and then we are able to organize what we have. Okay, so I came up with this handout. It's my scrap busting system, and I offered it for free. So anybody who goes to joyfulandmaryquilting.com/challenge, you'll come up on a screen. First of all, it'll ask you for your email address, and then we will email you the scrap busting PDF. The handout will come by email. Okay, so that's a good thing. Then once you've done that, you've entered your email address, and we are then in the process of sending you that. It comes pretty quick. Then there's a video where I thank you and offer and present an offer where if you're interested, only if you're interested, you're not required, you can join in our scrap busting challenge. It's a course where I teach things. I teach all sorts of things when it comes to scrap busting, but what I'm hoping is that you will use what you have in your stash. If you don't, I do tell you how to purchase yardage or fabric or whatever in order to create the quilt. It's the quilt that's behind me, and it's called Discovering Stars in the Scraps. So you can see all the stars popping out in the scraps. It's a hunter's star, a scrappy look. But the best part is I give you ways to create this quilt that work for you. Just like scrap busting, we scrap bust on our own. We do what works for us. What works for one person may not work for someone else. But you can look on here and just find what works best for you and then do it. Okay, so we've got our scraps. We're ready to make something out of it. What good are our scraps if they just sit there in a bin? Nothing. They're not good for anything if they're just sitting in a bin. We need to make something out of our scraps. So that's what the challenge is all about. How do you use quite a few scraps when you're making this quilt? But it's easy. And that's what I want you to know, because when we're doing scrap busting, we don't necessarily want to do a lot of intricacies that take us long time when we're just using what we have. That we save that for those big projects where we really want to make it, exactly what we want. So instead, this is using what we have. We want to have a nice pattern that goes together quickly, that we have a beautiful quilt in the end, and we've used all those fabrics that we have paid good money for that have been sitting in a bin. Okay. So that's my spiel about why we scrap bust. I only do it, this time. I mean, I usually try and keep my bin fairly scrap busted. I have a small bin just because if it gets too big and overwhelming, then it's just going to end up getting given away or thrown away. And I don't want that to happen. But January is kind of the time where I feel like doing that, when I feel like doing that cleanup. So that's what I do. So this quilt behind me, it's a 30-day challenge. So we start out, if you register, joyfulandmaryquilting.com/challenge. Once you register, then you're going to get a calendar of a checklist. It's a calendar, but it's a checklist of what you need to do each day in order to finish the quilt. And you'll get some instructions on fabrics that are needed. So that's a supply list, everything that you'll need just in case you have to gather your stuff together. So that's all part of it. Then next week you will get, but if you just join now, you'll get all this. If you join and we're already into the challenge, you'll still get all these handouts. They'll just be emailed to you. So next week, if you're on the schedule, you'll get the cutting instructions. So then you'll be able to prepare all of your, mine are too far away to grab, but all of your fabrics ready to go. Okay. Now, the beauty of this challenge is it has 3 parts, 3 different ways that you can come up with fabrics. First of all, your fabrics can be scraps, totally scraps. They can be layer cakes, or they can be a mix. And I'll show you that. We have videos that go with everything. You can, walk right through with me. Then there are 3 ways to assemble these blocks. My favorite way, as most of you know, is foundation paper piecing. I love that. The blocks come together so quickly and so easily. Yes, you have to pull the paper off, but I show you a couple of tips on how to prepare your papers so it's not that hard. So that's the first way. The second way is template piecing. Those of you who know what template piecing is, you get the pieces that are in the block, you get a paper copy, you can print it on cardstock or template material or whatever. And then you trace around those pieces and cut them out. You use, usually you would use a rotary cutter. And then you do that for all the pieces. It's tedious because you have to cut all the pieces out. It's not quite as accurate unless you're really, really good at it as the foundation paper piecing. But it does have some wiggle room where you can actually, I will show you in the instructions, what will help you to make it work. The third way is we're just cutting the pieces and they're oversized. We'll piece them together and cut it back. Okay, so 3 options that you can do. And I'm going to tell you, you will learn to make a perfect block. Now, this is the block. And you can see, look at that center. Perfect, right? Look at these points up here. Perfect, huh? Okay, it was not that hard. Now, when I create this for the challenge, I always do the quilt 3 different times, the quilt blocks 3 different times. And this is the fabric that I'm using for the challenge. It's a Riley Blake fabric. It's actually, oh shoot, I don't have the name in front of me, but I tell you what it is in the handout. And it is just really fun. There are 2 layer cakes that I use here. The 1 layer cake is all background fabrics, but they're all different, which is the Bee Bundle by Riley Blake. And then this one, which I think is really pretty. So I'm going to see how it comes out. I don't know. I have these layer cakes. I got to use them. I've got to use what I have. I have so many layer cakes that I bought over the year that I do not use. Jelly rolls, fat quarter stacks. Okay, so adding to my my stash, I found this because what I found was I don't have a whole lot of scraps that are the low volume or the background fabrics. Now, low volume can be a white background, a pastel, whatever, but it's very much in contrast to the other fabrics in the quilt. So you want to make sure when you look at it, you've got a good contrast. But then I found this great fat quarter stack. Actually, I bought 2 and one's already open. And again, it's by Riley Blake and it's called Bee Bundle. And it is all of those fabrics, but look at, they're all different. They have different colors, but they are all what you would typically call a background fabric. So, I love it. I think they're so beautiful. And you can use those forever. And the cool thing about what Riley Blake does, and I know other designers do this as well, so you can take a look. So a lot of times they will have some of their lines that go away almost instantly. They're out there 6 months later, you can never find them again. You can go on Etsy sometimes, or your local shop may have them. But if you're going to just go online and try and find them, it's not easy. But some of their fabrics, the Bee Bundle, they keep producing those. So they are available because they are a background that we are often using. Now, if you don't have that, you can use yardage. So that's my spiel for the challenge. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have Zoom sessions once a week where you can show your progress. The nice thing about Zoom is that we can interact. We can talk back and forth. You can ask me questions. I am always available for those who are participating in the challenge to ask a question. I try and answer as quickly as I can if I see your message. So, I encourage you to do that. So anyway, that's the challenge, joyfulandmerryquilting.com/challenge. And I'd love to have you join in. There is a charge for the course. It takes a lot. I don't think people don't realize this when they get upset when there's a cost for a course, but for any designer, it's not just writing out the pattern and letting you know what it is. There is a lot that goes into the whole process of marketing and the Zoom classes and all that. That all costs us money. So we try and make it as reasonable as we can. And I guarantee you, if you look for courses online, ours are way cheap. Ours are way cheap, but they are, I believe, they are of good quality. So I hope that you trust me that if anybody's taken my classes, they can tell you what they thought about it. So anyway, there's that. The second thing I want to share with you is I got an email from a company, and the company is called Novodon, Novodon Incorporated. And they said in their email, they had watched my videos, they liked them. Well, it always makes me happy that somebody actually did watch and they liked them. But anyway, they sent me a note inviting me to check out one of their products. Okay, now I have to tell you, this week has been rough. I started out telling you about January 20th being the saddest or the bluest day of the year. I kind of felt like it was kind of the angriest day of the year. I in Joyful and Merry Quilting, I get so many beautiful, wonderful, kind, caring emails, always respectful. I'm not kidding you. This past week has been a nightmare. Alex and I have gotten just some really difficult to read emails from people who just needed to vent, I guess. Nothing was really substantiated, I didn't feel. I tried to respond kindly to their messages, but again, it was really difficult to be joyful reading those emails of people that just felt like they needed to use me as their whipping boy. So I guess that happens. I guess that's the case, but for the most part, it doesn't happen with Joyful and Merry Quilting. And if you do see that, or if you are ever on our Facebook page, or you're ever made to feel like someone is being critical of you, please let me know, because we don't want that to happen. And we would never want anyone to leave based on someone else's critique or someone else's mean words or whatever. Like I say, it does not happen. We rarely see that, but this week has been just a little bit tough. And both Alex and I felt it a lot. Just people that just felt the need to vent. And I don't know why, but, I guess it's easy to talk to somebody behind a computer when you're behind a computer rather than facing them straight on and talking with them. So anyway, I hope that you are all having joyful and merry moments, and that if you are feeling a little bit down, or if you feel like the world is against you, please come over to our either our Facebook page or join with us in the challenge. This is a wonderful group of people, and you all here can tell during our lives that we have such support, and quilting is something that we all have in common. So anyway, back to the product. So what they said was, in the email, he said they have a product. I haven't opened it. I mean, I just took the tape off of it, but it's a product. Look at the cute box. Okay, it's called Novodon's wool cutting mat. Okay, and it has this whole little deal about the special type of wool that all of the sheep aspired to have for when they wanted to become quilters. It's the cutest story. Anyway, Novodon has a commitment of coming to North America to serve the tight-knit community of quilters who share their love for quilting, like Novodon did to her community. Novodon carries the legacy of this award. Anyway, it goes on. There's some good things, and I'll talk about this later. But what it says is, infrequently asked question: do I really need merino wool instead of New Zealand wool? So I guess that's where our wool cutting mats are coming from. I don't even know the history of cutting mats, and I have to do a little research because I'm going to do a tutorial on this. But I just wanted to share this with you ahead. It says, well, think of it like ice cream versus gelato. Both are great, but sometimes you just deserve that extra scoop of fancy. Go on, treat your fabrics to a bit of merino luxury because they're worth it. It's not just wool, it's a spa day for your quilts. Isn't that cute? Somebody really worked hard on this. Who says your fabrics can't have a little pampering too? Your fabrics love you and you love them too. So this is it. This is the cute little box merino wool pressing mat, and it says brilliantly wrinkle free. So I'm going to open it up and take it out. But I think it is. Oh, it is. This is one of those big long ones. This is one that goes on top of your ironing board, or you can put it on top of tables. Look, it's tied together with some yarn. And I'm not going to undo it, but look at that. This is really, I didn't even look to see what size this thing is. This is huge. I've always wanted one of these. I have never bought one. I have the small wool mats, but I've always wanted the large one. So again, I need to do some research on this and see What does it say? Well, I'll do some research and I'll let you know, but it looks like it's pretty long. So anyway, great product that I'm excited to try. Watch for a future video on that. I think wool pressing mats, one of the issues that I have with mine is I didn't read the instructions. And so I sprayed on top of it and I totally ruined the top. I got so much spray, but guess what? It washed off. So there are ways to treat it kindly, and now I know better. But they are something special and they're not cheap. So I'll check this out. I'll let you know what I think. If you're interested in doing some research, do that. If you have one, let me know, because I would love to hear your opinion on that. Or send me an email and we'll go from there. So today's demo is really fun. It's not really, I'm just going to show you the ruler, and then again, the tutorial will be on Monday at night. I'll hang out. But it's so cold. Everybody's eating soup or something hot out of the microwave. I put together from this is the Cozy Bowl set. It's two templates, the smaller one, and then it's nested inside the larger template. Okay, and I hope you can see it. I tried to tape it on here because when I opened it up, I took it off of the stickies. But anyway, this is what it is. You can go ahead and watch a tutorial if you want on it. Creative Grids has it. But my first thought when I saw this and I bought it was, I know how to make the bowl cozy. I've made them. I've made many of them. Then I saw the bowl cozy. And look at this. Isn't this cute? This is so pretty. It doesn't have those pointed ends on it. It's not all smushed up on the sides. Look at that. It's just, and this fits just like a regular cereal bowl. It looks big in the video, but it's not really. It's just a cereal bowl. And then here's the inside, but it just fits in there. Now, they say that it can go in the microwave. You're not supposed to use anything, no thread that has any polyester, and it has to be 100% cotton thread, 100% cotton batting, 100% cotton fabric. I don't know if my batting, I'd use scraps here and I didn't know what was what. So I would not put it in the microwave. I probably wouldn't microwave my bowl in this particular cozy, especially, if it spills or something, I'm not gonna, or spills over, that will be an issue. But I would take it out with a hot pad and then put it in the cozy, and that way you can use it. So I just thought these, again, I had some fat quarters that my Riley Blake fat quarters, and they were left over, and so I picked out some to use. Now this particular one, it says right on the template, this one, the small one, takes two 11-inch squares of fabric. So this and this, two 11-inch squares, and then two 11-inch squares of batting. So that's where you want your 100% cotton batting, two of those. I wouldn't use the Thermobrite or whatever it's called that goes in the oven. No, I wouldn't use any of that. You can, but you never, ever, ever can put it in the microwave if you're going to do that. So if you do want that, I'm sure it will work, but it worked really great with these two layers, and I thought it was nice. Okay, so that was the one. This is the one that I've always seen or used, other than those cute little petal look to the cozy. But then they have the larger template that's nested in there for a big bowl. Look at this. This is a big bowl. This is like for potatoes or something. And look at the size of this. This is so handy. And you can actually put your bowl in here just like that and serve. So to make these, the large one takes a 16-inch square. So you need a 16-inch square of one fabric, a 16-inch square of another fabric. Fat quarters work perfectly. Those leftover fat quarters that we have that we don't know what to do with. How fun to make these, and they went together really fast. It was not hard at all. The instructions are great. I did go online and I looked for some tips, and there were a couple things that I changed up a little bit that I'll tell you about when I do the tutorial. That's always the case. Whenever you're making something, sometimes some things work well their way, and sometimes you have a little bit of, a little difficulty and you can do it your way. So anyway, this is the large one. Of course, totally washable. So there we go. And then you just put that in there. And I just thought that was so much fun. Now, one of the things that this pattern has, that in the olden days when I made the cozies, they didn't have the darts on the side to make these the way so that the bottom is nice and smooth. But that was just whatever the pattern was that I had. But if you look at this, it's just turning it right side. You sew them together, you turn them right side out, and you leave it an opening, which I did. And then I actually did a double stitch around the edge just to make it look a little pretty. On this one, I didn't. This one, I just used a single stitch around there. It looks okay, but I thought the double stitch looked really nice. So anyway, this is that. Those are those particular, the rulers that, again, Creative Grids has everything. It seems like if there's a pattern or something that I want to try, there's going to be something. Now, someone suggested some Marty Michelle templates to me as well. Those of you who know Marty Michelle, she has templates to create just about every block, template piecing. And that's what we talk about with the challenge, that we will be doing some template piecing. To me, to have her templates for just about, like I say, every block, and being able to cut all those pieces out using your rotary cutter and that heavy template, I think is great. It works really well. I have asked people, I have had people ask me if you can create this quilt with the EcuCut, because they do have a hunter's star pattern, and you can. It won't be the same size as mine. I'm thinking it's a 9-inch size. I don't know if they have any other sizes. The instructions that I would be the same. You would still mix up your fabrics. You would still cut the pieces out. What you will need, and you can still run it through your machine, cutting all the different pieces, just, stacking up your fabrics. And you might want to you wouldn't necessarily have to put a large square over the entire block, but you can cut pieces as needed with different scraps and then run it through your machine. If you're familiar with AccuQuilt, you know what I'm talking about. But that will work for that. Now, the other thing that you can do, if you want to foundation piece and you do have the 9-inch, they're a little expensive. For one quilt, for my machine, it was going to be, I think, $70. That was probably a little more than what I wanted to spend just for one quilt. But if I did this a lot, I think it would be really worth it. What you can do is, all of our pieces are oversized. When you foundation piece, the pieces are oversized. So you can use the AccuCut, cut out all the pieces using a layer cake or whatever you're using. Well, actually, I think the pieces might be, I think that would probably work. I haven't seen the actual size of it, but you can cut out the pieces, and that way you don't have to do that. You can, if you have the electric one, you can just send it through. And then the pieces that you'll use on the foundation pattern actually need to be a little bit larger, which they will be. And then I'll show you how to piece that. So that is an option, I think. Not having one and not having the die, I can't guarantee. I mean, you'll be able to do it, but I can't guarantee it's exactly going to work with my pattern. What you can do, again, if there's an issue, you can always resize the pattern to whatever you want based on your printing on your computer. So that's an option as well. If you want to make it smaller, you can make it smaller. Just cut down on the percent when it comes to the size that you're making your blocks. As long as they're all the same, you're good. As long as it stays square, you're good. So anyway, so that is that. For the tutorial, if you are interested in Night Owl Quilting incoming, you will need the template, and it's the non-slip bowl cozy template set. Okay, it only comes one way, and you will need, depending on the size you're going to make, if you want to just make this little teeny one, then you're going to need 2 11-inch cotton fabric squares and 2 11-inch cotton pieces of batting. Now, keep in mind, if you can make out of one fat quarter, you can put the same fabric, because a fat quarter, you can actually get 22 inches out, 22, and then you'll have a strip left at the top, but that will work as well. So you can do that. If you're doing the large one, you will want the 16 inches by 16 inches of your square, and then 2 16-inch pieces of batting. So let me take a look and see if we have any questions about anything. I'll just scroll back. For some reason, my computer or my iPad decided to put the little keyboard right on top of the chat, which is always an issue. Sounds like everybody's cold. I just talked to my daughter. She's in Florida, 30 degrees down there. She didn't get snow, but she said it's cold and they are really, really feeling it. Thank you. The classes, Cookie Grandma one said the classes are reasonable. And I thank you for that. We really do try. We are not trying to rip anyone off. I have, as I said, I had some nasty comments. One lady said, "You're all about the money." I'm like, no, we're not. I'm trying to teach quilting here. We just have to make a living doing it. So anyway, we're hi from Holland, Margie. Woo! Welcome. Oh, Holland is Tulip Festival is one of my bucket list items. I would love to go for Tulip Festival. Georgia said you can throw your pressing mat in the washer and then let it air dry. She's been doing it for years. I'm going to try that. Now this one's huge. I don't think this one will go in my dryer, but I'll be really careful with this one because this is not something that I want to do. But I do have one that I have saved that has a bit of a sheen on it. And I'm going to try that. I'll report back. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you for that. Thank you, Barbara. Barbara said she appreciates our tips. We do have our tip video for Tuesday, yesterday, yeah, was all about the scrapbusting system. So if you don't have the handout and you're not interested in the challenge, but you still want the handout, go and watch the video. It's just one of our videos, our regular videos. And then there's a link that it's the joyfulandberryquilting.com/challenge, and you can get the handout. But, it'll get you started on your scrapbusting, whether or not you decide to make this quilt from it. Hi, Judy from Alabama. So happy to have you. Double stitch. Annette says she likes to double stitch around the edge too. And I agree. So I just think it just gives a nice finish to it. And you can use your foot as a guide as you go along. I'll show you that on Sunday night as well. Okay. Oh, Georgia said the AccuQuilt die creates a 12-inch finished Hunter's Star block. So that's quite a bit larger. Ours are the finish. Well, no, this one actually, the total size of the block is a bit larger than that. So you could still use those templates and create your Hunter's Star using the basic instructions, but it wouldn't work for the foundation piecing unless you actually shrunk everything down. If you have it, you can give it a try. I'd like to know how it worked. So anyway, I think that's it. That's our deal for today. I apologize for not having all my attention here. It's when Terry and Alex are not here, I always get a little nervous because I'm afraid I'm going to make some of you feel like I'm not paying attention to you, and that is not my intention at all. I want to make sure that everybody is able to ask any questions you have, or like I say, you can email me as well. But this is a good time if you have something that you're not sure about or you need to know. I'm happy to try and answer you. Usually, if you send me an email ahead of time, either with a tip or with a product you like, or with a question, I can address it here. I can be a little more prepared. Sometimes I'll need to bring some tools or something over so I can show you something. It works a little bit better that way. If I'm giving you an answer, a hands-on look at whatever I'm telling you seems to work a little bit better. So again, if you are a first timer, I welcome you. I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you, Annette. I do my best, I'm telling you, like I said, some of the people this week stole a little bit of my joy just because they had a lot to say. So anyway, if I am distracting to you, or if any of my behaviors are distracting to you, I'm really sorry. I try and correct them, but sometimes it just happens and there's nothing I can do. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining me. I'm so happy to have you. I am, Cheryl from the UK in her sewing room. I'm so glad that you're joining with us, Cheryl. And look, we have people from all over the world joining us, and that is just the absolute best. I know we have one lady that joins us from Australia, and she's been complaining about the heat quite a bit because it's really hot where she is. So I'm sure she would love to be where we are, and we would love to be where she is. But that's the world we live in. And just the fact that we're all gathered together as quilters, I just can't think of anything better. So I hope that you'll consider joining the challenge. I really do. I know you're going to have a good time. There's also, I forgot to tell you, there's an option at the end also for the last year's pattern. This was last year's pattern. So this is a fun one too. So if you do click on the challenge, the option for last year's challenge will come up if you're interested. A lot of you already have it because you were here last year. So, but anyway, if you're interested in that one is also foundation pieced. It's really fun and it uses a lot of those smaller scraps. So this particular one, we're going to be using mostly 2.5-inch strips and 6-inch strips or squares. That's mostly what this is made of, unless you decide to use a layer cake. Then you can use layer cake squares as well. But it's the 2.5-inch strips that we use mostly to create this particular, the pieces for this quilt. So just keep that in mind if you're scrap busting. That's what you want to be looking for. Set those aside. You want them separated out. The more low volume background fabrics and then the higher contrast fabrics, just so that you've got those stars standing out, which is what we want here. So anyway, let's see if we got anything else. Yeah, I know, New Jersey and freezing. We're all freezing, I'm telling you. It is really cold. And yes, Judy, I agree. Thank you, Judy, for being such a supporter. But it's true. I mean, I don't think people realize sometimes they just don't realize that there's a person that they're actually yelling at or talking to. And that's what's hard, because, we try our best. There's no reason why we would want to make anyone else feel bad. And that's the whole purpose of the Joyful and Merry Quilting community. So, and I said this ever since we started, if that happens to you, please let me know, because those who feel that it's their business to be rude or mean, this just isn't their form. And, we will let them know it's not their form. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I know it's a little, 11:36. I try and keep it 30 minutes. So I always tend to talk too much and talk over, which I have been told that I talk too much and I need to just get to the point. But I like chatting with all of you. I love having these times that we have together. And I would really love to meet you in person in our Zoom sessions, which that's what happens when we do have the Zoom sessions. So we've got enough of those that'll carry us through the challenge if you're interested in that part of it. If you're not, they're all recorded and you can watch them that way. The videos are all recorded, available to you for as long as you need them. They don't go away. You will have a library on our website, and anything that you have purchased will be there. You can go back there, watch the videos, download the PDFs whenever you need them. So we try and make it as easy as you can. I will tell anybody that's a guild member, we are also going to be talking a lot about scraps at our meeting tomorrow. Our guild meeting is 11 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, Thursday. And we have some scrappy tips that I'm going to be sharing with each of you. So if anybody's interested in the guild, send me an email. I'll let you know what that's all about. We love our guild. We love our friendships that we've created there. We always have a 30-minute chat ahead of time. Then we have our meetings twice a month. Lots of goodies that go with the guild. So again, if you're interested in that, I'd love to have you be a part of that as well. So thank you all for joining me. Make sure there's no additional questions. If I missed you by any chance, please email me, because it wasn't intentional. I just didn't see your question or your comment. Got a sick little dog today, so I have to take her to the vet. She's always got something. She's very needy, but she's got an ear infection again. So that's what's happening today. And then I have an interview this afternoon with our local news about a Project Linus delivery that I made. So lots going on today. And this definitely is the highlight of my day. So thank you all. I am always trying to be joyful, but I will always be merry. Please join me again for Night Owl Quilting if you're interested. Otherwise, watch the replay and check out our video from yesterday. I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.